College Gym Vids fan, going live on YouTube, going live on Daily Motion. This is another full gymnastics meet video. Now I gotta try to put the... There, I got it on Sling TV. I think I'm gonna do Utah Stamford.
The legends.
The best pure passer I've ever seen.
Download Pac-12 now and watch the latest episode anytime. She said they haven't had a practice since their last meet on Friday, but she thinks it's a good thing because they were able to rest. She said physically, they know how to do the skills, and mentally, they're ready.
All right, so Friday night, they were back at full strength. That meant that Michaela Skinner was back on floor. She was back in the all-around. She's ranked number 4 in the country. But that was a podium meet. This is not. How does it affect the lineup?
Well, she is out again on the floor. She was taped during warm-ups, and the coaches said they're doing their best to manage her body because it's the most important that she's healthy in the postseason. And if there's anyone that doesn't need any more competitive experience, it's Michaela Skinner.
For Stanford, they moved up to number 23, and it might be senior day, but we're keeping an eye on the junior, Kaylee Cole, coming off a season high on the floor on Friday night.
Well, she loves to compete, and that's very clear when she takes the floor. Head coach Tabitha Yim said she's been a dynamite competitor for them. And if you're just looking at the score sheet, you don't really realize how important she's been to what they're doing here at Stanford, especially with the culture change.
Utah has won 13 straight in the series. Stanford's last win was right here at Maples in 2014 when Utah failed to reach 197. It's the Red Rocks and the Cardinal closing out a long weekend live on the Pac-12 network.
You're watching Pac-12 Mountain. This is linked to increased risk of dementia, depression, falls, and isolation.
Kind of a quiet day on campus with the holiday and all, but a lot of people have found their way inside Maples Pavilion. This gymnastics team is on its way back into the national fold now, moving up from 26th to 23rd, but we're going to focus on the top 5 teams in the country because with LSU the other night beating Utah, they have now averaged a 197 flat for the year, so 5 teams averaging 197. Oklahoma, UCLA, because of what they did against Arizona on Friday, and Florida have all reached 198. For Utah, Sam, to reach 198, they have to improve on balance beam. It's been their problem all year long.
Yeah, definitely. And when I had a chance to speak with Tom Martin before the meet, he said that they're always chasing refinement. So like you mentioned, they do need to take it up a notch on beam and just get consistent. Megan Martin said they're playing with lineups a little bit to see if they can get a more consistent leadoff spot going. But Tom said for the other events, it's refinement all around.
Tom Martin, co-head coach, along with Megan Marsden. Tom said his 9th season on campus, 4th as the co-head coach, and Megan in her 10th season as the co-head coach, and 35th on campus. So it is the Olympic order, and that means the home team starts on vault, and almost always when Stanford starts rotation, they begin with Kaylee Cole, and she'll lead off on 2 events today, both vault and floor. Season high in this event for her was a 9.85. Came to California. She's been remarkably consistent in that. She has also hit 9.8 3 different times. Starts with a smile. She'll want to finish that way in 2 hours.
She's going to be doing a Yurchenko layout full. And for her, the key is flat hips at the end of her twist.
That was good stuff.
Really good start for Kaylee Cole.
She was in 3 events at the Mardi Gras Invitational. That was the meet that both of these teams shared on Friday night back in St. Charles, Missouri. Utah finished second. LSU won that meet. Stanford was fourth in that meet, but they did put up season highs on both bars and floor. And according to Tabitha Yim, it was their first complete meet, 24 out of 24. So they're carrying that momentum in. Utah is the visiting team. Starts on bars. It's one of its strengths. It always has been. Ranked number 5. And besides Skinner, they don't really have anybody nationally ranked on this event. But that's what makes them so dangerous, is they're great as a team. Kari Lee leading off.
She's such a good lead-off competitor for them. Very solid all around. Clean gymnastics. Bigger overshoot combination. I watched warm-ups and she hit this so robotically. The only little bump in the road came in her dismount. Wanting to just get her toes up a little bit more. Close call there, but was able to get that rotation quickly at the end to save herself.
She was in the bars lineup earlier in the year, then took a little bit of a break. Now she's been in that lineup the last 4 times. Her season best came in the season opener at 9.825 against Penn State at the Huntsman Center. Kari Lee has been a rock for Utah for the better part of 5 years, and she's one of those gymnasts that when she's up on an apparatus, if you're a Red Rocks fan, you can almost relax because you know you're going to get a quality number.
Yeah, and Jim, you mentioned earlier how both of these teams competed Friday. That's a lot of stress, not just on the body, but mentally, to compete twice in one weekend. But you know what it is good for? Practice in the postseason. So as much as you don't want to compete twice middle of the season, hopefully down the line it will pay off.
9.75 for Kaylee Cole. I thought it would score a little bit better than that. The judges giving themselves some room to grow. Taryn Fitzgerald, one of the 3 seniors today, performing for the final time in Maples Pavilion. She's been on vault and beam at every meet. She will be again today.
Another Yurchenko full, and wow, these landings are a lot better than what I was seeing in the warm-up. Really working on holding those finishes. That's what Tabitha told me was the focus here on vault tonight. Came in a little bit high, good press off the table, and seems to spot the landing a good amount before she gets there. See how far she gets away from the table. Good distance, very centered on the mat. It's one of the better vaults that I've seen Taryn do this season.
When we talk to UCLA and Utah and Oregon State, Washington about events, you get one answer. When you talk to some of those other teams that are on their way up, they almost all say the same thing. We need better landings. We need to stick landings and not give away those tenths. Well, Stanford has done that on the first 2 vaults, and maybe that's exactly what Tabitha Yim is talking about right now with Kyla Bryant. Bryant will be third up for Stanford. Meantime, Tom Farden talking with Hunter Dula. Bryant has just been outstanding. She did not go all around at the Mardi Gras Invitational, but she is scheduled for all 4 events today. Hunter Dula waits for what will be her only routine today. She's been a bar specialist in the last 6 meets. Now the score is in for Kari Lee, 9.825. That ties her season best. And Hunter, after waiting quite a time, now gets the green light. She's had season and career highs in her last 3 on Friday night in Missouri, 9.85 on this event.
And Tom Farden said she's getting more comfortable in competitions. He's hoping to see that again tonight. Jaeger, good distance, a little bit far, hanging on to it.
Yes.
She's a freshman, so this whole competing every single weekend, especially twice in one weekend, is difficult. Much better dismount than the 30-second touch. Tom should be really pleased with her performance.
You mentioned a freshman, but she's been on campus for a long time, enrolled in summer, participated in that voluntary training. Here's a better look on the wide.
Lots of height on that Jaeger. You see a little bit of the knee bend. Spotting the ground way before she lands. And again, working on holding those landing positions.
I was surprised she even took the little hop because she had so much time in the air and spotted the landing early. Looked like she would stick it. Fitzgerald goes 9.8, so numbers trending upwards as they hand off to Kyla Bryant. Bryant was the first person I talked to when I walked in the arena, and she greeted me as she always does, everyone, with a smile. One of the best gymnasts in the country.
So much energy and power star, not only in her personality, like you mentioned, Jim, but in her gymnastics. Look at the distance on that vault. She finishes towards the end of the mat. It is tough to do that, but because she gets so much height, so much air time, she opens her hips. She pipes it down on the ending, which she really doesn't need to do. That's what caused the huge hop back, which is going to be a significant deduction. That's the thing that she's trying to figure out, that balance between power and control. How do I have the power in the air, but controlling it on the landing?
I think the last time we were here, we saw her have some trouble on vault as well. She has a victory on vault this year. Now she's just waiting on that score. Back to the bars, Kim Tessin. She's going to be in 3 events today. She'll be on vault and floor as well.
So the handstand, start off the routine.
She's been a 9-8 machine 5 times this year already.
This is looking like a really good start to this routine. She does split body pass handstands, which is the same difficulty as straddle pass handstands, but it's a little bit more eye-catching.
That popcorn was good this morning, wasn't it? It's National Popcorn Day, January 19th. Same day this meet is going up. Utah versus Stamford.
Here is that blind change. Look how high she gets on her Jaeger above the bar. Catches slightly close, but nails that last cast handstand.
Perfect.
Tom is going to be really pleased with those handstands.
Yeah, because he talks about that stuff, and in their training facility, they have a monitor with a yellow line painted
Yes.
to make sure what vertical is, and he'll stop the tape just like that. Bryant, just a 9.675. Remember, 6 compete, 5 score, so they can drop a number. And rarely would Stanford ever think about dropping Kyle Bryant's score, but they're going to want to here.
Yeah, they really killed her on that hop back.
Rachel Playa, sophomore. 4 times has got 9.8 on vault.
She's the only one with a 10-0 start value in this lineup.
Did a little tiptoe out of the landing.
Yeah, million check, but I've seen her fly out of this vault, so it's been improving. She's getting some more height off the table, opens up at the right time, just couldn't quite hold on to it at the very ending, but clean finish, very clean landing, which is what Tabitha said they've been working on in the gym.
Stanford has been averaging about a 48.8 on vault. Meantime, for Utah on the bars, again ranked 5th in the country on that event, they've been averaging just under 49.3 per rotation, and so far all 3 scores have been at least 9.825 or better. Here comes McKenna Merrill Giles. You'll see her on all 4 today. Talk about somebody who's clutch, shows up every day in every event, takes the role of a setup for Michaela Skinner, but also puts up big numbers and just demands your attention.
Wow, big del check, start up the routine, and holding these handstands. Judges aren't giving anything away, so she's got to hold it to make sure they know she is completely vertical on top. Really good routine going.
Yeah,
You
you
really
bet.
can't ask for anything more from McKenna. Tom said at the last meet on Friday, they only stuck 2 out of the 6 dismounts. Hoping to get more today. McKenna's hoping to start that trend here. Close on that Delchev, but again, able to control the rhythm throughout the routine to get all the handstands and fits perfectly into that landing. You see she almost double absorbs it when she lands, Jim. That's to show off the fact that she did not move her feet.
She's been rolling on bars. Her last 4 scores have all been 9.85 or better. This one should be as well. Lisa Yu, we have 2 events today, vault and bars. And we're talking about somebody who's rolling 6 straight scores of 9.825 or better.
She's one of the best vaulters they have on this team. Oh, looks like she was going for the stick. We talk about this often. Gymnastics is tricky. It's so mental. Sometimes if you focus on something too much, it overcompensates and causes other problems. She opens her hips, perfect, and just doesn't let her chest ride up enough. You can see the intention, though, was to go for that stick.
9.875 from Merrill Giles. Look at the back end of this lineup with Merrill Giles, Ryan Statler, and Skinner. 3 of the best in the conference on this event. Ryan Statler scheduled to go in 2 events today, has a win On bars already, and all 7 have been at least 9.825.
Her bars is just perfection. I mean, when she gets those casts, her lines, that form, the only little deduction I see is her ankles coming apart on the bail, but everything else is so beautiful to watch.
Now she's been battling a sore foot. Now she's been on vault, beam, and floor different amounts in different meets, but uneven bars only in her last 4 meets coming into this one. And we saw Missy earlier this year against Arizona State win the event with a 9.95, so she's capable of special stuff. Only a 9.575 for Elisa Yu on that short landing. Puts a lot of pressure on Madison Burnett because they're going to have to count the 9.675, and this is a freshman in the anchor spot.
Doing your capable, and she's only been training 3 weeks, Tabitha told me, before the meet started. So she's been working a 1.5 this past summer. Not sure if they're going to implement that this season, hoping to just get a really good, solid Yurchenko layout full from her. That's where we see the pipe down at the end of that flip.
Maddie's coming off a pretty good meet at that Mardi Gras Invitational on Friday that they were involved in. 2 season highs.
Hey, it started off really well for Stanford in those landings, though. They have been working on those improvements, and that's where we see it pay off.
Look at this consistency. 9.875s going back to back, and Michaela Skinner. Skinner is ranked in the top 10 and has 5 wins on bars this year.
The handstand starts off with O'Ray. First done by Elise Ray, head coach for University of Washington. She's impressive in everything she does. This bar routine is fast, but she gets the job done.
Oh, yes.
And that's what we would expect from Michaela Skinner. They hit 2 for 6 sticks again tonight.
Well, all 7 of her scores have reached at least 9.85. She's always in the anchor spot, and she always comes through. Michaela Skinner, 18-time All-American, 94 wins, 137 for 137. Stop it.
A diagnosis does not define me.
And vision loss doesn't determine my character.
It's our drive that shows who we...
What we're doing here, well, we watched her rebuild Arizona for 2 years, and prior to that, she was an assistant coach. You knew she wanted to come back to Stanford at one point. And so now she's begun the process again, laying down that foundation. And after the meet the other night, she said, we were much more consistent on all of our events. We took a step forward. Before the meet today, we talked with her about how you measure the progress with such a young team.
We talk all the time about enjoying the growth process and that it takes persistent and consistent effort. It's not going to happen
Tabitha
overnight.
Yim, Stanford
but all the
head
things that
coach.
we see that
Tabitha
maybe
Yim
aren't
used to
showcased on the floor
compete
quite
in
yet.
gymnastics.
We can see all that coming
I think she
to fruition.
competed in
And so we just
college
gotta be patient,
gymnastics.
take our time, set the foundation, and we know that it will build and it will grow over time.
And I actually talked to her before the meet started and asked her a similar question of where's the measurable, and she said if we can hit 24 for 24 again tonight.
She was a great gymnast, 14-time All-American, led Stanford to 2 conference titles. She was the gymnast of the year in this conference back in 2008 and an all-around champion. All right, Utah begins on the vault, and Kari Lee leading off for the 2nd time today.
Yurchenko layout full. Good landing, good block on the table. Just really clean all around.
They've gone as much as 49.5 on this event on Friday night in St. Charles, Missouri. 49.375. Over in the bars, first time today we'll see Taylor Lawson, but it won't be the last time. Lawson will be on beam and floor as well. She's at season highs on this event, her last 2 times up.
This event really wasn't a culprit for them at the beginning of the season, but they've been improving. Tabitha said they've been showing a lot of grit and heart, and this is where it's showing up. Getting that chest up a little bit more in the landings to get rid of that step. But it was a good clean routine from Taylor.
And Lawson, you can watch her growing up week by week. She's a sophomore now, but 7 of her last 8 scores overall have been 9.8. So it's not just the 9.8, it's that she's doing it across the board and doing it repeatedly. That's what Stanford needs. 9825 again for Kari Lee. Second time today she has posted that number. Here comes Macy Roberts. First time we have seen Macy. And it looks like the only time we're going to see her. She's ranked in the top 20. And all 7 of her vaults have been a 9825 or better.
She's been a good athlete in the middle of their lineups. Put up some good numbers for them. Let's see if she gets even more pop off the table than Kari did. Check out how straight her arms are when she hits. Good block. She waits to start twisting and then goes for that flare position. I'd like to see her chest land a little bit more vertical when her feet hit, but overall, really good timing in that vault.
And I know you were going to correct me on this. She will be back in the floor, right?
Yep.
Never in the floor ladder. So.
We do.
Thanks for hesitating
Yeah.
on that.
I knew you'd get
You
there.
don't want to
Jeff.
knock me down too early in the show. I need the confidence. 9775 opener for Stanford. That was Taylor Lawson. Grace Vargas back. This will be her only event today. 4 of her 5 have been 9-8.
Getting that handstand. Maloney would be. Ooh. Man. Did a Maloney pack salto.
She's a bar specialist.
Let's see what happened here, because from this angle, I thought she was good. Sometimes you think you're on the bar and you don't quite hit your
She double
out.
clutched on it.
She double clutched. Her thumb was around the bar. That's typical for a lot of gymnasts that like to have their thumb around the bar, but sometimes it causes problems like it just did for Grace. Which also means they're not going to go 24 for 24, but see how she finishes this routine. Nice handstand, clean landing, and what a bummer for Stanford, hoping to get another consistent meet here under the belt.
You can see on the high tens wearing the grips, and I wondered because she grabbed and then tried to re-grab quickly.
Yeah.
If the grip wasn't on, she never got back to it. 985 for Macy Roberts. Here comes Alexia Birch. They call her Lexi. First of 3 events for Lexi. All 6 vaults have been 9-8 plus.
Your Chico full, ooh. And we see the same issue with one of the Stanford gymnasts, that she's going for that stick position. And if you look down and your chest is down, most of your weight will pull you in that direction instead of driving you upward. Keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling. That's where the problem came, just at that very ending. It's one of those mistakes that you knew you'd make it right after it happens.
Utah has changed its lineup a little bit. Lexi only was in the vault on Friday night, but of course, flying across the country pretty much twice in 72 hours, they have a deep enough bench. Vargas back just the 9-1-2-5, so now they need to go 4 for 4 to close it off. Here's Lisa Yu, who was coming off a season high on this event on Friday night, 9-8-5 in St. Louis.
She is beautiful to watch on this event. Long lines, good handstand positions, sharp at the top. I saw her stick a couple of those in warm-ups, and that's just when you get a little bit too excited instead of holding that finish.
Well, she came in with a lot of momentum, hit a lot of 9-8s. 11 of her last 12 had been 9-8, but she had trouble on the vault. 9-5-2-5 only for Lexi Birch. Kenna Merrill Giles, Skinner, and Tesson to finish out the rotation.
First 10-0 vault for them. Oh, wow. Just a 1.5. Looks like she took one step, one little baby step on the ending, but just all around, good press off the table, slight knee bend coming around, but opens up at the perfect time.
McKenna is the defending Pac-12 champion on this event. Currently ranked 6th in the country.
One slight little hop at the end, but her arms are really dictating that timing, and she does a good job of that.
All 7 of her scores on this event have been 9-8-5 or better. Her last 2 have been her best 2, where she went 9-9-2-5. Lisa Yu with a 9-8-2-5. That's a good score for her. Madison Burnett. Did see That is the end of the vault rotation. Just a 9-6-7-5, looking for better here on bars. Scores have been up the last 3 meets for her. Got back to the bar there. That was close.
Wow, don't you have failed. That's where you see the fight coming in. When you know that it could have been off the bar, but she chose to hang on instead.
And then sticks the landing. She rescued that routine.
Yeah, head coach Tabitha Ian said it's really important for them to celebrate this fall things, and let me tell you, that is something that they're going to celebrate. Look how far away from the bar she is.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, good catch. Looks like she may have even tapped her heels on the floor, which is going to be a deduction, but continuing that routine is part of the culture building process for that Stanford team.
Merrill Giles had a 9-8-7-5 on bars, comes back with a 9-9 on vault. Again, having a great meet already. Kayla Skinner went 9-9-5 to close out the bars rotation. Here she's in the 5-hole.
Yurchenko double full. She always does it very nicely, but she's been, I was going to say, this year in particular, this stint has been every single weekend, it seems like. She's really dialed in and figured out how to do that week in and week out.
She's number 2 in the country, Pac-12 co-champion on this event, and she doesn't often get this excited. She thinks this is really good.
Holds
What's
on
wrong
to the
with it?
landing. Good position. Let's see it one more time. Her legs are straighter than they used to be. Huge improvement.
She's
and
holding
dials
that
in the
for the
landing.
judges,
I
yeah.
don't know.
She's saying the same thing I did. Show me something that's wrong with that vault.
She's been knocking on the 10's door. Let's see if they'll give it to her.
She has 4 wins on vault this year. Quickly we go back to Parson. Kyla Bryant has something to make up. And just a 9-6-7-5 on vault.
Cautious. All the way back up to handstand.
Bryant has won this event 3 times this year. Such a dynamic athlete.
So fast. Everything she does. Great handstand position. Sharp foot to that vertical.
Watch the height. Ended up on her heels.
Right, just a small hop, and those little details is what they're working on cleaning up.
All 6 of her scores thus far had been 9-8 or better. Meantime, Skinner got 110 from a judge. The other said it could be better.
Yeah.
9-9-7-5. Wow. Well, that ties her career high against Boise State a couple of years ago. She had the same mark. Kim Tessin to close it.
Another 1.5 for them, and another clean landing. One small movement from the feet, but they all do a great job at opening up at the perfect time. You can tell they do a lot of drills, a lot of technical drills to reinforce the fact that you should open up right now. Check it out. Arms flare, spots the end of the landing. Chest is vertical. Twist just slightly early, but her hips are flat throughout, and that's a really good Yurchenko 1.5.
She's been in and out of the vault lineup because of illness, which has limited her program, but she's been in and out the last 2 weeks. Kyla Bryant, 9-8-5. Rachel Flam now, once again. Flam had a 9-8-2-5 on vault in the first rotation.
That was so strange. Her grip came off after she caught.
Did it break? Yeah, they're saying it break, that it tore. That's
Whoa.
Yeah, you can see Chris Swarzak, associate head coach here, immediately goes to the judges and say that her grip broke. Does that affect it? It doesn't matter?
Yeah, because the grips are technically your own equipment, you really don't get a redo. If there's a rip, you're not supposed to compete with it. That's why you're always supposed to have more than one pair of grips broken in at one time. Let's see what happens. Yeah, totally
There it is.
broke.
She felt it too.
I'm not sure if there was a little bit of a rip in it before she went for her routine, but that is just unfortunate. And I mean, there's no way that she could continue that routine. She had to get off the bar.
Yeah, for safety. So, not a Tonya Harding situation where the shoelace breaks and you go over to the judges and they say, all right, you get a do-over. It's not gonna happen.
Unless it's a new rule I'm not aware of. But if there was something wrong with the equipment, Jim, if the cord or the bars came undone, that she would get to go again with no problems.
Yeah, I just wondered because Swarzak immediately appealed to the judges and said, look, it broke. Her grip broke.
Yeah,
so
I thought she was going to get back up and go again, but it looks like someone else might be stepping up there.
Well, they had a couple of gymnasts that might be scheduled for exhibitions, and that's what this would be, but couldn't they then slide one of these people into the 6th spot and get a score out of this?
I guess technically
Maybe
they
not,
could.
because she started her
Somebody's
routine, got a score.
recording this
Right.
with an
I still see
iPad.
her gripping up
Because
and
I see
talking
the
up in the background.
So
So
it
I'm
looks
not the
like now
only
that Rachel
one
Flynn will go
recording this
again.
meet
She's
with an
back to the chalk
iPad.
box, but in the meantime, to give her some time to get ready and get that other grip in shape, they're going to run one of the exhibitions. So that's a non-scoring routine that's going on in the background.
Well, usually if you fall, Jim, you only get 30 seconds
Right.
to chalk back up and get on up there. So I'm really interested to see what the judges are going to do here.
Yeah, I've
Clearly
not
been
seen
longer
that.
than more than 30 seconds.
So I guess technically they're not out of order because that's an exhibition that's non-scoring. But you're right, it's much past the time limit, and she doesn't seem to be in much hurry. Only changed that left grip, of course, but there's a lot of work that goes involved.
And mentally, it's just tough, especially on bars when you fall, to just pick back up and when you know you already have 5/10 of a deduction when you start the routine again.
Grace Wagesback had a 9.125, so Flem is obviously trying to do better than that. I don't even know how they scored as a fall. Is it done that way?
Yeah,
Because she
got off
breaks
the
the
bar.
routine
It's
and
a
gets off the
fall.
bar, yeah, feet hit the floor.
But I'm interested what deduction they're going to take since it's been longer than 30 seconds, or if they will take that deduction.
Interesting. I've not seen this. And she's still kind of fidgeting, and that's the one that she just changed,
And
so it might have a different... Do different pairs feel differently?
Yeah, Jim, a lot of times you have a backup pair, but it's not your preferred pair.
Right.
You probably don't use it every single day, so I'm guessing that it's newer, it's completely different feeling, unless she alternates every other day, which is pretty rare for gymnasts.
I'm the same way with pocket squares. Some just make me feel better. So Swarzak now is waiting for the judges to give her the green light.
Yeah, you see Tabitha clapping in the background, trying to get some energy and life back into her team. Everyone's confused.
Yeah, because the rotation is really over. Utah has gathered in the middle of the floor. They're kind of preparing for the 3rd rotation.
Utah's confused.
Yeah, they're ready to move on.
So she's just picking back up like if she would have just fallen on that scale. Second half of her varnishing here. She's fidgeting with that grip still.
Well, it's got to be in her mind, so it's a distraction.
Long dismount, didn't quite get her toes up there, but again, I guess it shows heart. Get back up there, finish your routine, knowing you already start from 5/10 below.
Excellent, Sammy, because I think as you were saying that, that's exactly what Chris Swarzak was saying to her. Don't worry about the score. Don't worry what happened.
Yeah.
That's an important rep. You got to get up, you got to finish it, and walk out of here with a complete routine. Utah, through 2 frames, looking pretty good so far. For each halftime at Maples Pavilion, Utah is number 4 in the country.
It must be their victory dance.
Yeah.
The bond we share with our pets, it's undeniable.
Good, clean combination pass off the top. We talk about them competing twice in a weekend, but the event that it really affects is floor. Floor routine is already exhausting, tough on the body, so to do twice in one weekend is pretty tough.
Yeah, and when you're talking about mixing in warm-ups as well, you know, and the travel, not to make excuses, I understand they are elite athletes and they're college age, so you kind of expect them to bounce back, but it's a challenge.
Different time zones, too. There's
Yeah.
a lot that goes into it. the flashiest tumbling passes. She doesn't have the double-double like Michaela Skinner does, but she puts up a good number for them to build on.
Well, that's what you want in a leadoff spot. And I know people outside the sport say, what difference does it make what order they go in?
This is rotation 3 now.
9,
So
7,
this
7,
is
5.
4 and B.
Cheryl, Wesley Stevenson.
Yeah.
First time we've seen Wes today. Stevenson will be her only event. She's put up career highs in back-to-back meets, 9.825.
I'm not sure if she was supposed to connect that. Like she paused afterwards, but now she's going for her series. Back handspring layout.
The Temptations in the background.
Coach is saying
Proud
that
to
doesn't
beg.
really show emotions very much. She's really calm and cool in the gym. Part of that freshman class that Tabitha spoke volumes about. They want to be great, not just in the gym, but in the classroom. She said those are the type of athletes we want on this team.
Settled to me. Seemed like she was kind of fighting herself a bit. Just
Yeah.
more comfortable.
Exactly what you saw, Jim, is kind of how I felt. There was a little fidget where she didn't really need to be. Here on that back handspring layout, you could see her hips turning out, and she was able to save that. But other than that, there was little fidgets throughout the routine that I think they're hoping to get rid of.
But she stays on. She finishes strong. She's going to post a decent score. 9.825 for Macy Roberts. Kim Tesson. Tesson had a 9.825 on bars and a 9.9 on vault.
And this is her first competitive meet of the season. She exhibition won already. But Megan Marsden said no one is more excited to be in this floor lineup than Kim.
So this is the change. Skinner out and Tesson comes in. First time this year on floor.
Front handspring double full E-pass to start off the routine. Choreography from BJ Doss. Megan said this is a little bit more of a darker floor routine, but she loves it.
Said she likes to dance. There you go. Well, they're getting her back at her best and exactly the right time. Again, she's already posted 2 big scores, and this should be a nice number.
Handspring double full, overshoots it just a tad, but catches it on the landing. That was probably her biggest deduction in the whole routine.
She's had 10 career 9.9s or better. Meantime, Stanford battling its way through the balance beam. 9.725 for Stevenson. Taylor Lawson once again. So Taylor starting off the bars rotation with a 9.775.
Huge standing Arabian right here. Looks like that every time. I love it. This is where the difficulty is starting to show for Stanford's beam lineup. About her on bars, and I think she's been improving not just on bars but all around, just gaining consistency and comfortability in these meet situations.
She joined the beam lineup mid-season, had her best against UCLA, 9.825 in front of a sellout crowd. Better than 6,000, hangs on.
Went a little crooked in that layout. Able to save it. Another hit routine for Stanford. It wasn't perfect, but they're working on the 24 for 24. 23 for 24, rather.
Ever get tired of watching a standing Arabian?
Huge. That is so impressive, and I say it every time. Look how high she lands. Look where her hips are. Way above her knees. Chest position is perfectly vertical. That's tough to do, Jim.
I think she's nailed that all 3 times I've seen her live this year.
That's huge, and you don't get any more points for that, even though it's way more difficult than another skill you could choose to do.
Back-to-back 9.825s for Utah on the floor. They're going to look to bump here with Kari Lee. Her last 5 have been at least that much.
They've done a good job first viewing the lineups, and Kari is a big part of that, who is able and capable of putting up a big number for them.
Kari Lee's been good on the floor since she was a freshman, where she advanced all the way to the NCAA finals as an individual on this event. Throws out the U.
It's just beautiful to watch, really graceful in their landings.
She's one of those gymnasts that enjoys the moment, so you can relax and enjoy her performance.
Nice finish.
Robert Gladney in the background, assistant coach for Utah.
She's having a good day, Jim.
Yes, she is. She's had a pretty good career, too. And she's been through an awful lot and battled back from all of it.
Here we go, round of back handspring. Double full into a punch layout, step out, stretches her legs on that layout position, no deductions on the landing.
She had 9.825s leading off both the bars and vaults. And she lead off on beam in the 4th rotation. 9.725 is our seniors. For Stanford, they have 3 competing today. Taryn Fitzgerald, and then Haley Hoffman and Nicole Hoffman. No relations, and this is Nicole.
Front aerial, good strong arm positions in that connection. Back handspring layout. I'm really loving how quickly she's getting to those finish positions, that lunge on the series. You can see it helps her eliminate the wobbles throughout her routine.
Hasn't been up that often on the beam this year. We mentioned that Stanford, much like Utah, has been tweaking the lineup.
I think if this beam routine keeps up, Jim, she might be a consistent person in this
Put her
lineup.
back in.
It's looking good. That was a big improvement from her on beam, and another consistent routine for them.
Nice moment for the senior on senior day. Her final dismount in competition inside Maples. And Tabitha waits in line, says that was a nice moment. Good for you. 3 straight 9.825. So Kari Lee hits 3 9.825s today by herself. Adrienne Randall. Randall has a win on floor. Came against Arizona with a 9.95. Friday night, St. Louis 9825.
Big pull in to start off the routine. She's been competing a good amount for a freshman. But their schedule gets a little bit harder after this. UCLA is next weekend. They have more tough competitors after that. Coaches told me the second half of the lineup is way more difficult than the first.
And that was intentional, right? They want to kind of simulate whether they're going to go through an NCAAs or it's going to be a demanding schedule crushed together against the best competition in the country. So Utah was going to meet Friday in St. Louis, flew home on Saturday, then flies here on Sunday, competes on Monday, and then goes home and faces UCLA on Saturday.
It's a good test for them. And for a freshman to nail another floor team, that's a good thing for Utah.
She was a two-time floor champion at the California State Championships on the club level.
Kind of a high back handspring, threw her head a bit on the double pipe, but gets it around just enough to stick it.
That was her first event of the day, but she'll also be in the beam lineup as well for Stanford. She's right now scheduled to go fourth, but they tweaked their floor lineup as well. 9825 was the score for Nicole Hoffman. Nice work on senior day for her. Lauren Navarro now. Caleb Ryan on deck.
She didn't compete at the beginning of the season. She was battling some soreness, some prior injuries. She's back in beam lineups now, and she really is a good contribution to this team. They all seemed a little off on their series a little bit, able to save it, but hips were not very square at the end there.
I've always had the belief in gymnastics, people like yourself don't seem to correct me on this one, that I think more than any other event, emotion affects being throughout the lineup. If people are doing well in front of you, it lifts you, and when people are struggling, you have that empathy and you carry that up onto the beam. I think it's hard to shake.
Yeah, typically beam is a little bit easier when you're mad for some reason. She's finishing this routine really well, just dismount. Oh, that was awkward.
That came off diagonally, it landed right on the end of the mat.
Her heel looks like she didn't get on it. It was crooked in the round off. See.
The beam clean here? Ah.
Yeah, I think it was more her shoulders than her heel, but what a strange dismount there. And that's what they're really trying to avoid, is just those little mishaps that we're seeing from this team that you wouldn't normally see in practice.
Adrian Randall with a 9-9 for Utah.
Oh yeah, you see Utah is
But for
on
Randall, that is
the
a
floor and Stanford is on.
well, she had a 9.95 against Arizona West, so her second best score of the year.
She's going to start off with a big double layout.
This is Sydney Solosky.
Ooh, a little short.
Solosky has got a 9.9 on floor 3 times this year. Going to have to be almost perfect rest of the way.
Well, during warm-ups, they were hoping that they were going to rest her, but she's back in the lineups. I love watching her on this event. She's so fun. Brings the energy. They're tumbling and dance. Jumps to that lunge.
Been in the floor lineup in every meet Friday night at that Mardi Gras Invitational in Missouri at 9.9. An NCAA All-American on the floor last year.
this whole routine, and the harder you dance, the more endurance you have to have, especially on this last pass here, 1.5 layout. Bends her knees just a little bit, making sure she gets it all around.
Well, she came up a little short on that first tumbling pass, but other than that, I thought she lifted the whole routine after that.
Yeah, it's not going to be a huge deduction, that double layout, but it may hurt her ankles a little bit, just crunching like that. Ooh, it hurts me a little bit more in slow motion. For them trying to keep those bodies healthy, competing twice in a row, probably didn't want to land short.
Kyla Bryant now needs a score here to save this rotation for Stanford.
She's probably one of the most talented, she probably is the most talented gymnast in the Stanford roster, but she hasn't really, quote unquote, figured it out yet, how to compete consistently every single weekend. But when she does figure it out,
I think this is a home meet for Stanford.
Sure.
I think Utah is the road team.
5 straight meets of 9-8 or better.
It says Pac-12 on.
Came back at the Mardi Gras on Friday with a 9.825.
Standing switch leap. Tabitha said that this year she's different because she's purposeful. She's been paying more attention to detail. Adding the wing right before her dismount. We're going to see a back handspring, double back. Finishing this rotation with the difficulty. And good routine from Kyla.
Kyla Bryant undefeated in the all-around this year. She was not in the all-around at the Mardi Gras Invitational on Friday night. And the last time we saw her in a nice battle here against Washington's Ebony Roberson that went down to the final routine on floor, and she needed a huge score and got exactly what she needed. So she's 5-0. She's in it today, and remember, she had trouble in the first rotation on vault, so some room to make up on floor. Closing out the floor rotation for Utah is McKenna Merrill Giles.
When you need a big score, you gotta ask either Michaela or McKenna, and they usually deliver.
She's ranked number 12 in the country and has not been under 9.85 this year on the floor.
Beautiful pike full in, legs together, strong finish. Looks like she tripped a little bit on the step in between her leaps, but fights through it.
She has 6 wins this year. They have come in the vault, the bars, the beam, and the all-around. No wins on floor. But part of that reason is because of how strong Utah's lineup is.
Your teammates right there in the corner. Sometimes you need a little extra boost from your teammates yelling at you to just get that last pass around. She needed no help though. That was a beautiful way to finish the routine. It's going to be a big number.
I often feel like after Utah meets that we haven't given McKenna Merrill Giles enough credit for what she does, what her role is on this team. But let me give it to you statistically. Before this floor score is turned in, she's had 30 scores this year, 30, and 26 of them have reached at least 9.85.
Wow.
Let me help you. That's pretty good.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Wait for the number when we come back.
Yeah. Final rotation is coming up.
Blue. Blue's not feeling well. The prescription didn't.
Average this year has been 49.13, but they have had 2 48s. The only 48s they've gotten this year, predictably, have come on balance beam against Penn State in the opener and against Arizona. And Arizona actually beat Utah on the balance beam at the Huntsman Center. So what did they do? They changed and went with a veteran, Kari Lee, to start things off.
Yeah, historically, it's not very typical of Utah to change their lineups this late in the season, but when they're seeing problems continue, they got to figure something out. And Kari Lee is such a great choice of someone that can lead this team. She's comfortable and confident.
Well, she's ranked 25th in the country. She has won on beam.
See her taking a pause after that wobble just to center herself, get back in the middle of beam. It's not easy to set the tone for the team. You know that that's your role going into it. Megan says she has experience and she thinks that even by going for it first, her score won't be compensated. I mean, she's going to get a deduction from that wobble after her series, but other than that, it was a clean routine.
Starting off for Stanford.
Kaylee Cole will lead off the floor. Kaylee was the lead off on vault with a 9.75. She was not in the beam lineup today. 6 straight 9.7s on this event until Friday night at the Mardi Gras, where she went 9.85.
Go 2.5 front.
So she's coming off her best floor of the year.
I asked Tabitha Yim, what's been the focus of floor? And she said presentation and form in the air. And, you know, it sounds silly to say you're focusing on presentation. Kaylee's done a good job of that all season, smiling through her team. But it does get hard when you're focusing on so many other things and then you have to smile and make it look really easy on top of that.
You do splits too. And I do splits. I'm not that flexible either.
And floor is their highest scoring event as a team. So it always takes Kaylee starting off with a really good number, and she's done that week in and week out.
They wanted Kari Lee to set a good number in the leadoff spot. That's why they moved her to the top of the lineup. And she goes 9.8. Good enough?
Yeah, that's a score that's able to build on. She's definitely gone higher than that. She's capable of improving that number, but maybe that'll be a good spot for her in the leadoff.
Once again, Sydney Soloski, who just went 9.85 on floor. This is only her third beam of the year, season high 9.8. That's California.
She missed the connection, so she's going to try it again. She's only got one more try here. Front aerial, back handspring. Struggles a little bit. There's a hesitation. I don't know if they're going to give her that serious connection.
See Megan Marsden in the background, hands on her hips. It's no secret, the team knows it as well. This has been kind of their bugaboo this year, trying to get better. This event has kept them from 198. Everything else nailed down.
She looks a little off when she's landing, not really planting her feet after each skill. And a step on the landing.
It's got to be a tough situation for the head coaches in that you want to put some emphasis on beam, but at the same time you want your athletes to relax and not make such a big deal out of it. But they can read, they're on the internet, they hear clowns like me talking about it, they know that people are focused on it, so you tell them to focus but don't focus.
Right, it's easy, and that's all you have to do, Jim.
It's like when people tell you about your golf swing, here's 13 things to remember, just relax. 9.75. Kaylee Cole. Here is Haley Hoffman, who ironically grew up in Salt Lake City, now against the hometown Red Rocks.
Front tuck into a Ruby. She's second in the lineup, so her role is to build off of Kaylee Cole's Although you can't control the scores, you do want to improve upon that. Really good second pass, double back.
She's been warming up on floor. 3 of her last 5 have reached the 9-8 level.
They're ranked 12th on floor. I asked Tabitha if they've been doing anything different, and she said, I'm really proud that they've been consistent 1 through 6. That's what helped us be so high in the rankings. And she said we've been doing a lot of team-based assignments, which seems to help. Nice finish.
Haley Hoffman, the senior, for the last time at Maples Pavilion.
You see her take a big, deep breath at the end. It is emotional to finish your last competition in your home gym. Double back, quickly to the lunge. Way to finish.
I know here at
Michael
Stanford,
Jackson
Victoria
music in the
women's
background.
basketball
Don't
coach,
stop
won
till
1,000,
you get enough.
one of the greatest of all time. On senior day, she waits until after the game because she says, I just
A
don't need that
9-8,
emotion. It's too
9-6
much right before
on
the
the
game. We'll do it afterwards, and then everybody can cry, and the families can come down, and we'll do the flowers.
I split the beam on senior night, Jim. You were there.
I was there. Only 9-6 for Solowski, so Lexi Birch now having to pick it up. Oh, and the foot comes off.
Ooh, a fall on the beam.
Man, this is not what they wanted to do here today. Megan told us earlier they wanted to come in here to get redemption. You see her right side just completely tried to compensate it, didn't get her heels on the beam properly. And, you know, when Megan was talking to us about gaining redemption, she was talking about balance beam. That's where they've had some struggles this year. All the other events seem pretty consistent. So figuring out this little issue of theirs is going to get them over the hump and get them confidence to compete against the higher ranked schools. Finishing nearly out full, and
I think what's been most difficult, and Megan Marsden handles this event. I'm talking with Megan before the meet. What seems to be most confusing for her is that it's not the same people and it's not the same skills, and everything they tweak, they're still getting the same results. So how many times can you continue to change things? Eventually, you hope you hit on that winning formula.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said. It's different people each time, so they're struggling to find the solution.
Haley Hoffman, the senior, with a 9.875. Beautiful stuff.
Vision loss is not something that you feel until it happens.
Nice pass. Good punch on that transition. Rachel's part of that sophomore class that got a lot of experience last year as freshmen. Tabitha said when they performed, they really looked like veterans on the floor. She said it's nice to see their consistency and their confidence grow. And Jim, you can tell just how comfortable Stanford is on floor. They know that it's their strength. It's different. It's a different feel than the other events when they approach them.
You're right. They average better than a 49-1 per rotation on floor. You mentioned it already. Ranked number 12 in the country. And they have a winning record on floor. Against opponents head-to-head, they are 7-4-1 coming in on floor.
Front fold, good punch into that front pike. Front pike with that was actually higher than the front fold. Nice finish to that pass. I was watching Tabitha when she finished, and she had a huge smile on her face doing the choreography with the gymnasts.
Tabitha, a national floor champion back in 2001, U.S. Nationals. So Birch got a 9.175, which means they're going to have to keep Soloski's 9.6, finishing with Randall, Merrill Giles, and Skinner.
Well, and she's feeling the pressure here. That handspring layout. But some gymnasts like the pressure. Like knowing that their score has to count.
You did.
Definitely. Adrienne was an excellent beam worker in JO. She was the national champion on beam. She's got a lot of fun skills. I like how she moves on beam. Her dance is graceful. Back layout, full swing down. That's called a Rolkova. Hiding the difficulty with this routine. Double full, and it's a hit beam routine for her, and that was a lot for Utah. One more hit routine that they needed, and also proving to the coaches that as a freshman, she can handle that pressure and hit even after a fall.
9.875 for Compton, 9.5 for Flom. And now here's Lawson. Taylor Lawson, 6 straight on floor, 9.85 or better. This is her event.
One and a half, step out into a double back. Stuck landing. You know, they have been giving a lot away on landings, especially on floor, unnecessarily. So you can tell they've gone back in the gym and worked on that. Like to see a little bit more split on those leaps. And of course, Kyla Bryant is right there dancing along with her. She's got a floor routine to do. Double pike, another perfect landing. This is by far the best routine I've seen Taylor do.
Now that's going to be 7 straight 9.85 or better, but we'll wait for the score.
She's feeling it. Stanford rushes to the floor. This could be their best floor rotation of the season.
Their best number so far was the 49.25 that they posted on Friday night. A good weekend for them. They posted back-to-back season highs on floor. Randall 9.825, the best mark so far. And the good news for Red Rocks fans, as you close out this rotation in this meet, needing big scores, McKenna and Michaela.
I know you're the stats guy, Jim, but statistically speaking, I think you've got a good chance with these two at the end. Megan said out of everyone in game lineup, McKenna really seems to be hitting her stride. Struggled a little bit at the beginning of season.
5 times with a 9.85 or better for McKenna Merrill Giles on balance beam.
Slow connection, but keeps her arms moving.
Lock that in. From the U.
Round off 1.5. That was impressive. Her heel was actually off the beam. Crooked on that round off, going for the dismount. But she does such a good job finding these landings. She's very cat-like. You can see she bends a really good amount when she lands, just to make sure she's got it.
Just absorb it. And Megan comes over and says, thank you.
Yeah.
9.875 for Lawson. Great scores now, 3 in a row. mentioned that Stanford had a couple of 9.875s on Friday night. One was from Clam, the other one from Morgan Huang.
She moves really well in this event.
Morgan has a win. 2 career highs in her last 3 meets. Including that 9.875 in Missouri.
Big double layout. She was short, but does a good job of getting her foot down in that lunge position. She's their firecracker on floor, bringing the energy, bringing the dynamite. They need one more solid pass from Morgan. Clean double pike to finish the routine.
Morgan Huang, very good stuff for Stanford.
And that's going to be another good number for them.
You know, if they could, and you talked about it already in this rotation, if they could take this confidence from floor and spill it onto the other 3, Stanford's going to start really climbing the rankings. Now, this week they went from 26th to 23rd, but floor's been there all year long.
Yep.
Michaela Skinner waits to go. She needs at least a
9.825
on beam for Utah to reach 197 for the 8th consecutive time. They have gone 197 7 straight times before. Done it a couple of different seasons, but not from the beginning. So there's some people in Salt Lake City and savvy Red Rocks Gymnastics fans who really want that record to continue.
Well, and again, to say statistically speaking, that's a really good bet that you can make with Michaela Skinner. I bet on her every day.
What's the name of this Bruno Mars song?
And talk about someone that likes that pressure, that likes to compete. I bet she said to herself, I got this, before she mounted the beam.
Skinner's average on beam this year is a 9.843, so all the numbers are in her favor. Now she has to finish the routine. She's been clean so far.
Yeah, she's a true athlete, too. She likes that competition. Sometimes I worry that there's not enough competition for her to keep things interesting.
There you go.
She has been nursing a sore ankle. Shows that she's not invincible. They were managing her, resting her on the floor.
Woo! She did good. Her team's cheering
She covered everything in the air and stuck it.
Big fist bump from Tom. He's just thinking in the bank. She is such a phenomenal gymnast, not just a gymnast, but an athlete, knowing that that pressure is there and she can still deliver.
They went 197.075 in Missouri. It's a good score. Wasn't good enough to beat LSU on that night. They needed to salvage something out of this road trip. And Skinner's score, I'm not going to make people in Salt Lake wait. It's a 9.9. It's a 9.9, so you get your 197 again. That's 8 straight. Kyler Bryant on the floor to finish the meet.
She did get a 9.9 on beam.
Starting with a good full in. Great clean landing. That seems to be tough for her because of how much power she has. But my wish for her is that she does this floor routine for her potential, because the rest of the lineup has already backed her up. She has the potential to score the highest on the team. Taking some time to Charlotte probably needs to keep dancing because her problem is having too much power.
3 times this year, has posted a 9.925 on her floor exercise.
They're looking for one more solid pass. Open double back. She nails it. I know the score isn't in. I know Stanford's team score isn't in, but I think this is the best overall presentation that I've seen from Stanford on floor.
I would agree with that. You know, they got up to kind of a weird start on vault, and we're trying to make it up ever since.
But when they get to floor, they look comfortable. They compete with confidence. You can tell. So hoping that it's going to translate to those other events.
It might be their first 49 of the night, so Stanford continues to take those baby steps. Top of the M says, look, small things for a young team, and we're getting better each week.
What's the final score of the meet?
A wish? A feeling?
This Pac-12 Women's Gymnastics meet has been brought to you by State Farm. Here to help life go right. So they finish on a high note. Stanford
197.07 for Utah.
Another season high for them.
195.8. So Utah beat Stanford.
And go 195.8. They would have gone 196 if they just had kind of a cleaner start at the end of that vault rotation and maybe done a touch better on bars. But a pretty good day for Stanford overall. Meantime, for Utah, the struggles continue on balance beam. And for the second meet in a row, they go 197.075. What would you do if you're a beam coach at Utah right now? What would you tell Megan Martin?
Oh, I feel like they're going to do a lot of numbers and a lot of pressure sets because it looks to me like it's mental. The girls have the skills. It's different skills each time. It's different athletes.
Stanford is number 23 in the rankings, and Utah is number 4.
Here to help life go right highlight. It is Utah's Michaela Skinner on the vault. She posts a 9.975 for the 3rd time this year.
Phenomenal job. Yurchenko double full again and nails that landing. She really drills it into the ground, completes her twist, spots the vault, and her feet do not move. She blocks before she twists. Good technique in the air. I mean, it was another good vault. What do you want me to say, Jim?
So Utah improves to 9-1 overall. They're 5-0 in conference. And coming up on Saturday at the Huntsman Center, they're calling it the Red Out. Utah will be number 4. UCLA will be number 2. And I guarantee you there'll be upwards of 16,000 crammed into the Huntsman Center. They'll be there early. They will stay late. And they'll be loud the entire time. Utah against UCLA. It's Saturday, and you can see it here on the network. For Tab of the M and Stanford, I like what they're doing so far. You can see that foundation is being laid down. The 3 seniors say goodbye to Stanford. Taryn Fitzgerald, Haley Hoffman, and Nicole Hoffman, thank you for all your work. Congratulations and good luck in the future. We, of course, will see them at the Pac-12.
Coming up Saturday at 12:30 p.m.
UCLA and Utah.
Pacific,
Saturday
UCLA,
on the network. Sellout. Meet of the year. For Alan Brum, your producer, Mark Wolfson, your director, Joel Farbertine, our statistician, and my partner, Sam Pescic, I'm Jim Watson. Say so long from the farm. We'll see you on Saturday in Salt Lake City.
One thing that I try to do to be more environmentally conscious is to walk instead of drive my car.
Well, I recycle.
Lighthearted, fun energy of this team. She'll be leading off on 3 events because she sets a calm but aggressive tone, putting up 9.8s or better on all of those events. She's the perfect package of power, grace, and great skills.
Carly has been super dependable. She has 20 career wins. McKenna Merrill-Giles, 29 career victories, a 6-time All-American, and twice in her career, she has been perfect. Once on floor and once on ball.
Well, she is a solid rock. All-around titles, and she got her first perfect 10 last week on the vault.
For more full college gymnastics meets, hit the big red button and subscribe. Peace out, YouTube.